Previously, when he was suffering from leprosy, no one would come even near him. But now he became handsome and his disease was gone. So he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what should I do? I'm scared I may become proud. What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Chitate Hare Krishna. No, Pavstare Hare Krishna, Chitate Kanigi. Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. He said, chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and whoever you see, tell him to chant the names of Krishna. And then he will never become proud. So we all have to do that. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in southern India, he was received in the house of a devotee called Kurma Brahman. Unsabut Kurma Brahman. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to his house and he received him by washing his feet. Then the Brahman Kurma told him, I'm very unhappy in this householder life. All grihasthas say that. I'm very happy in this householder life. What? He said, I'm very happy in this householder life. Take me with you. He said, I'm very unhappy in householder life. Take me with you. So Lord Chaitanya said, now stay where you are. But chant Hare Krishna. Read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Worship the deity and preach. He said, this instruction is for everyone. So these are some pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tomorrow some more. So we'll tell you one quick story of Sanatana Goswami. These stories are also all from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, Sanatana Goswami, he escaped from the prison by paying 7,000 gold coins as a donation to the jail keeper. And he was traveling with one servant whose name was Isha. On the way they stopped at a hotel, small hotel. The hotel proprietor had an astrologer at the reception. The astrologer would calculate how rich the person is. So the astrologer told the proprietor of the hotel, this guest, very rich, a lot of money he has. So the hotel proprietor was being very nice to Sanatana Goswami. But Sanatana Goswami was very suspicious. He was very suspicious that, why is this man being so nice to me? So he asked his servant, are you carrying something with you, something valuable? He said, yes. He said, I'm carrying 7 gold coins. So Sanatana Goswami said, give me those coins. And he gave them to the proprietor of the hotel. The proprietor said, oh, I thought you had 8 gold coins. The servant cheated. So 8, he said 7. So Sanatana sent him home. And he continued to walk towards Varanasi. On the way he stopped at his brother-in-law Shrikant's house. He was very rich. He was trying to distract Sanatana. He said, what is this? You've given up your rich big job with so much money. He was trying to tempt Sanatana. Just like sometimes you devotees, you get tempted by job offers from your relatives and friends. They say, hey, what is this? You become a crazy brahmachari. Come on, I'll give you a nice job. So Sanatana's brother-in-law was saying the same thing. I'll give you money. But Sanatana was not interested. So anyway, he gave Sanatana a very rich blanket. So it's a long story. We'll just tell you in 2 more points. When Sanatana met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was looking at his expensive blanket. Sanatana could understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not pleased, that he has renounced everything. He adopted the life of a mendicant, but he's wearing such an expensive blanket. So Sanatana went to the bank of the Ganges. There was an old man there with a torn blanket. Sanatana told him, do me a favor, sir. Please exchange this. Give me your old blanket and take this new expensive blanket. He said, you must be joking. Why are you exchanging your expensive blanket with a torn blanket? Anyway, Sanatana finally did the switch. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Sanatana had given up his very expensive blanket, he was very pleased. And he said, a good physician, when he cures a patient, he doesn't cure the disease and let the symptoms of the disease remain. So the point is, when you come to devotional service, We should reject everything that is unfavorable for spiritual advance. So, we'll continue with Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Rupa Goswami now. We'll read the Sanskrit. Sadhana bhakti haite haya rati udaya rati kada haileta prema namakaya. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the 2 verses we discussed yesterday, he had pointed out the importance of avoiding nama-prad, Vaishnava-prad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explained the importance of keeping yourself in strong spiritual association. By keeping yourself in strong spiritual association, the unwanted creepers can be corrected. And you can also avoid, if you are doing something wrong, you can be corrected. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is explaining that by rendering devotional service, one gradually becomes attached to the Supreme Lord, and that attachment culminates in development of love of God. In other words, there is gradual development culminating in love of God. Just like the sahar you eat goes through different stages of development. In the very beginning, there is a sugarcane seed. Is that sugarcane seed sweet in any way? Do you ever go to the store and say, "Ya khachu sugarcane sahar seed"? So first there is the sugarcane seed. So when you plant the seed, then there is sugarcane that comes out of it. Then 3rd stage, you extract juice from that sugar cane. Then when you boil that juice, it forms what is called liquid molasses. Then from the liquid molasses, it becomes solid molasses. Then a sugar, and then a candy. Finally Los Angeles. So just like from the seed, eventually it becomes a sweet, similarly the different stages of development eventually culminating in love of God. Just like it is explained by Rupa Goswami, Adho Shraddha Tatha Sadhu. In the very initial stage, there must be this desire that I must perfect my life. So there must be this desire, yes, I must perfect my life, and then sadhu sangha. Then Krishna inspires you to come in contact with devotees. Krishna is in everyone's heart, and he understands the nature of your desire. You have full faith that Krishna is in your heart, full understanding that Krishna is understanding your desires. Just like when you're passing through a garden, by smelling the fragrance, you can identify which flower it is. So similarly, Krishna smells your heart and he knows what your desire is. Now suppose your desire is, I want genuine love of God. Suppose your desire is, I want to get out of the cycle of birth. This material world is a real place of suffering. I want to get out of it. Then what does Krishna do? Tatha sadhu. You come in contact with a devotee of the Lord. Suppose your desire is, eat, drink and be merry. So what will Krishna do? Put you in the association of sense enjoyers. Suppose your desire is, I want religion, but I really want religion just for show bottle. I really want to go on with my nonsense. So what does Krishna do? Put you in touch with bhogi yogis who will say, give me some money and I'll give you God. I'll give you a special concession. Pay me the money and I'll give you a special blessing so you can go on with your sense enjoyment and still get love of God, like many cheaters do. So anyway, you devotees are interested in the process of eventually culminating in love of God. So when you come in contact with a devotee, what do you receive? What do you receive? Knowledge about executing devotional service. That is known as the process of bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is the process where you follow rules and regulations and you chant. You may start chanting with 1 round, 2 rounds, but then you end up in 16 rounds. There's so many people I know, devotees, when they were first told that they had to chant 16 rounds, they said, oh no, not for me, not in this life. But today they're chanting with no problem. Looks difficult in the beginning, but once you approach it with determination, it becomes easy. So when you execute bhajana kriya, the anarthas in your heart begin to get weakened. That is known as the process of anartha nivritti. Just like when you take medicine, due to the influence of the medicine, the germs in the body begin to get weak. Then what happens? There is determination. The determination to go back to Godhead becomes strong. You still continue, not that you stop at any point. Then the Nishtha moves on to the next stage known as the stage of Ruchi. You still continue. Then it goes on to the next stage of Atha Shakti. Then you still continue, goes on to Bhava. And eventually, Prema Bhakti, pure love of God. So, just like we explained the example of the sugarcane, how it goes from the sugarcane seed eventually to the final stage of sweet. Similarly, Rupa Goswami explains how we go from the stage of Shraddha to the stage of love of God or Krishna Prem. So the important element in coming to the stage of Krishna Prem is this process of bhajana kriya. This process of bhajana kriya should never be given up. Chanting the rounds, sadhana bhakti, reading Prabhupada's books. Even if you are a grihastha living at home, living away from the temple, then you should still practice process of sadhana bhakti. Because sadhana bhakti and chanting and reading are the key to eventually development of love of God. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining to Rupa Goswami that just like as the sugar gets purified, the sugar becomes sweeter and sweeter. Similarly, on the devotional path, as we eliminate our anarthas, spiritual life will become sweeter and sweeter. So, we should in all situations not abandon the process of bhajana kriya. The classic example we have is of Haridas Thakur. He never abandoned this process. So Rupa Goswami received instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, as we said earlier, for 10 days. Then Lord Chaitanya started his instructions to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, as you know, escaped from the prison and eventually he joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we'll just describe one or two instructions and describe more tomorrow. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained a story of a poor man who was crying. He was saying, I'm so poor, who was feeling sad at his poverty-stricken condition. So the poor man, an astrologer, came to that poor man's house. Why are you sad? He said, I'm too poor, near Denik. So the astrologer said, oh, let me look at your hand. Hey, you're a rich man, who told you you're poor? He said, really? Raise all the riches. Okay, I'll tell you where it is. You have to dig. You have to dig on the eastern side of your house. He said, don't dig on the southern side, western side, northern side. Only dig on the eastern side of your house. If you dig on the southern side, he said, the wasp and the demons will come and they'll eat you. And if you dig on the western side, you'll find a ghost. And the moment you start digging, he will come and eat you up, kill you. And if you dig on the northern side, you'll find a big snake, cobra. You know cobra?
Yes.
And the moment you see that, the cobra will not let you get to the treasure that's hidden. But if you dig on the eastern side, your hand will reach the treasure. So, which side in Russia does the sun rise? So why did he say, don't dig on the eastern side, on the southern side? He compared the process of karma kanda to the process of wasps and domes. Then the process of jnana kanda is a process of speculation. It's like a ghost that will create mental disturbance. The jnanis, they try to speculate. In the end, they get so confused, they have to end up at a psychiatrist. And then the yogis, That's compared to the black snake that scares the people. So that has been compared to the northern side. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that astrologer said, if you take on the eastern side, then there will be no ghost, no snake, no wasp, and your hands will reach the treasury. So why did Lord Chaitanya say your treasure is if you dig on the eastern side? When your devotees go back to your homes after this festival, you may want to go home and dig on the eastern side. Maybe there's some treasure on the eastern side of your house. Lord Chaitanya said, dig on the eastern side. This is compared to the rising of the sun. When the sun rises, darkness, illusion goes away. There's a nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which runs as follows. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hayandikara Yaha Krishna Maya Re Maharaja Adhikara. Where there's Krishna, there's no room for Maya. Just like with the sunshine, there's no room for darkness. So, when you have Krishna, then Maya will not touch you. So, just like the sun rises from the eastern side and destroys darkness, similarly by taking shelter of Krishna, you destroy all darkness. Just like when a man becomes rich, then all distress goes away. When he's rich, all types of happiness is realized. And when you're in a happy mood, then the distress goes away. Similarly, devotional service to the Lord is the only means through which you can really approach the Lord, serve the Lord, and understand the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya goes on with his instructions, and then he tells, as you know, Lord Chaitanya's main emphasis was on emphasizing the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. What is the best means for realization, self-realization, Kali Yuga? Samkirtan Yajna. Who said that? Okay, we'll give you a quotation now. This is a quotation from the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam, but it was told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. I'm sure you probably heard it earlier. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnum Tretayam yajato makhe vapare paricharyayam karota dhari kirtana. The translation and purport is as follows. So, Lord Chaitanya is telling us that whatever result you could have got in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga by other means of self-realization can be obtained in Kali Yuga by taking to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. I want to explain this verse to your devotees a little bit because it is Lord Chaitanya instructing Sanatana Goswami. Second, you can use this verse in your preaching. And all of you are preachers, isn't it? Yeah. I was told this group was the best preachers in ISKCON. And you all are going to get a certificate soon. Okay. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnu. This Kriti means Satya Yuga. Dhyate means meditation. So in Satya Yuga, the best form of self-realization was meditation. In Satya Yuga, people used to live for 1,100,000 years. And they could meditate even 60,000 years. Who meditated for 60,000 years? So in Satya Yuga, you can meditate. You may say, oh, even today people talk of meditation. There's so many yoga schools. But that meditation is nothing but sleeping. You go and close your eyes and you start snoring. Then is Treta Yajato Makhe. That means in Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, people used to perform sacrifices. What type of sacrifice? Fire sacrifice. Big fire sacrifice. To do that sacrifice, you needed very high quality pure brahmanas. And you needed pure ingredients. Pure milk, fruits, water, etc. Then came Dwapara Yuga. And that the process was serving the lotus feet of the Lord by presenting very elaborate, expensive offerings. Just like anyone would go to a temple he will bring some gold or diamond or some rich offering. Can you afford to do that today? Let's examine the process of meditation of the three prior ages. Today, even if you go on top of the Himalayas, you can't meditate. The planes are flying. Where can you perform yajnas today? Where are the pure Brahmanas? You can't even get pure air and water today. That's why everybody buys these bottled water now. And even when you buy mineral water, you don't know if it's genuine or false. So we told you, okay, every time you go to see Gaurnathai, you must take an offering of at least $1,000. You would say, oh, impossible. So this is what they did in Dwapara Yuga. They would sell the lotus feet of the Lord by very expensive offerings. But people were rich at that time. But in Kali Yuga, you can get the same benefit that you were able to get in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. By doing what? By Harinam Sankirtan. It is just like before Christmas, something may be selling for 1 million ruble. And after Christmas, it gets reduced. Okay, 10 rubles. So if $1 million commodity gets reduced for 10 rubles, will everyone not buy? So that's exactly what's happened with the process of self-realization. Something that needed 60,000 years of meditation, you can get the same benefit by chanting Hare Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just chant. You don't have to worry about meditation or big yajnas or sacrifices. Tolka Pastare Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.